Hello students, welcome to Edible Art Club. Today I'm going to show you how to make Oreo truffles. This is what Oreo truffles look like. It's like a little Oreo mixture in the middle covered with chocolate, and then I kind of decorated them on the outside. What's nice about these, let me show you what the inside of them looks like. Okay, if you take one and you split it open, it's like an Oreo and cream cheese mixture on the inside and then chocolate on the outside. They're delicious, and you can make these any time of the year. I make them a lot around Christmas, but you can make them for any occasion. Just little balls of Oreo and cream cheese covered in chocolate. Okay, so what you'll need to make these, 3 ingredients. You'll need some melting chocolate, and I've mentioned before that Chocolate Maker brand is my favorite type of melting chocolate. You can get that at Walmart, or you can get Ghirardelli sells melting chocolate, and there's a lot of other brands out there, Wilton. You can use chocolate chips. The only thing with chocolate chips is that when they melt easy, but when it takes them twice as long, sometimes 4 times as long to harden as the melting chocolate. You will also need Oreos, a package of Oreos, and a package of cream cheese. So 3 ingredients: melting chocolate, Oreos, and cream cheese. If you want to make a lot of these Oreo truffles, you can use a whole package of Oreos and a whole package of cream cheese. But that's going to make like 40 or 50 truffles. So you really don't need that many. So what we're going to do today is we're going to use 12 Oreos. Open up my package of Oreos here. 12 Oreos. You see how there's 3 rows? Just 1 row is like 12 Oreos. And we need to crush them up. So to crush them up, you can either, let me move my camera so you can see what I'm doing here. You can either use a food processor, a blender, or you can squish them up like with a rolling pin. So I'm going to show you how to squish them up in a food processor. I'm going to take my 12 Oreos. There's 4, 8, and 10, 11, 12. Like I said, if you have a blender, you can throw them in a blender as long as it has a nice sharp blade. I'm just going to put this on here. And I'm going to crush them up so they're nice and powdery. There we go. They're nice and powdery now. It's like all crushed up Oreos. I'm going to put that in my bowl, my mixing bowl here. And then I am going to mix in my cream cheese. So I only used 12 Oreos, so I'm only going to use 1/3 of a package of that cream cheese. And what you want to do with your cream cheese is microwave it for 20 seconds so it's a little bit soft. It makes it easier to mix together. So I've already microwaved this. I'm going to put it in here. And then I'm just going to mix it together with a fork. It seems like it's not going to mix together. Ooh, I've got a chunk of an Oreo in there. I'm going to pull that out. It didn't blend up very good. I'll eat it later. 1 more chunk. And you just got to keep mixing it up with your fork until it's all combined. If you'd like to make even a smaller batch, you can use like maybe 10 Oreos and 1/4 cup of the cream cheese. And what we're doing here is we're just making a little bit of a dough. So we're mixing it all together, and it's going to form like a chocolatey dough type of looking thing. Takes a little while to mix it together. If you're making a big batch, you can mix it all together like in a great big mixer. So like at Christmas time when I'm making 40 or 50 of them, I'll just throw a whole package of crushed Oreos in my KitchenAid mixer, and then I just throw in the whole container of cream cheese. Okay, so I've formed a nice dough here. It's all gooey. I'll show you what that looks like, okay? And it's nice and soft and gooey. It's a little bit softer than like a cookie dough, but we can form balls out of that. But before we form our balls, what you want to do is you want to refrigerate this for about 30 minutes. It works better if it's cold. Or you can stick it in the freezer for 10 minutes. I've went ahead and I've already got some that has been refrigerated. So this is a little bit colder. I like to work with it when it's colder because it's a little bit stiffer and it's easier to form into a ball. And then also when I dip it into my chocolate, it's going to harden faster. So you want to take your dough mixture and you want to make all of your little balls first. And then once all your little balls are formed together, or let's say you want to do like maybe 10 at a time, I just want to get them all set up ahead of time before I start dipping them in my chocolate. And then remember, I did post a video on how to melt chocolate. If you scroll down on that Google Classroom page there, you'll see one. It's titled Melting Chocolate, and it shows you how to melt the chocolate in the microwave. All right, so I'm starting to form my little Oreo balls right here. And I'm going to make about 6 of them before I start dipping. So I've got 4, 5, and 6. And then I can make some more after I dip. But I like to do them in clusters because the dough is cold, the chocolate will harden pretty fast. All right, so I've got 6 Oreo balls set aside there. Now I went ahead and I already melted my chocolate. And I just put the melting wafers in a bowl and I microwaved it for 1 minute. And then I stirred it up and then I put it back in and I microwaved it for another minute and I stirred it up. And I use the Choco Maker brand. That's my favorite brand. So then what you want to do is you want to dip the Oreo ball into the chocolate. And I'm going to use a fork just to coat it really good. And then I'm going to pull it out with the fork and I'm going to let some of the chocolate drip off. And then I'm going to place it on my wax paper. Remember, we use a wax paper for our work area. Put another one in. Dip it. And place it down there. And like I said, I'm going to do 6 at a time. I don't want to do too many at once because the chocolate will start to harden and I want to decorate them. So if you're going to decorate these, you want to make sure that you do it before the chocolate hardens. So I've got some sprinkles here. And while the chocolate is still wet, I'm going to put some sprinkles on them. And you don't have to put sprinkles on them, but you can if you want. You could put sprinkles on them. You could put little mini M&Ms on them. You could do crushed up candy canes. At Christmas time, they have candy cane flavored Oreos. So I like to use those for my Oreo mixture because I like that peppermint flavor. There's also other flavors of Oreos that you could use. You know, they keep coming up with more flavors, I feel like, every year. Cherry, lemon. You can do whatever you want. Okay. And there we have it. Now you can leave them. You don't have to decorate these with sprinkles if you don't want to. But I like to decorate them with sprinkles. So you just got to make sure if you're going to decorate them, you put it on it while the chocolate is still wet. And then you let them sit and you let them harden. And then once they're hard, you can take them off the wax paper and put them on a plate. So this one, see, this one's already starting to harden. I can pick that one up. See, that didn't take very long for the chocolate to harden because I had refrigerated the dough and it was cold, so that helps to make it harden a little bit quicker. All right? So that's how you make the Oreo truffles. Now, if you don't have a blender or a food processor, one way you can crush up these Oreos is to put them in a baggie. Let me just adjust my work area here. And then you can use a rolling pin or a meat tenderizer to hammer them and squish them. So I'm going to take a cutting board because I don't want to ruin my table. I've got my Oreos in my baggie here. And I can take my rolling pin and I can just squish them with the rolling pin. Put them over, squish them with the rolling pin. It takes a little bit more work to do it this way, but if you don't have a blender, it's a good way to crush them. Also, you can take a meat tenderizer, that's what this is here, and you can just bang them to squish them also. Like I said, I'm doing it on a cutting board so I don't ruin my table. But that's one good way to crush up your Oreos too. And even if you wanted to just put your cream cheese in this baggie and then mix it together, and then you don't even need a bowl. So that works good too. So, enjoy making your truffles, and bon appetit!